Have you ever had those moments where this well of emotion starts to come up, or these big triggers that come up in your life, and you're trying to make sense of it, or trying to figure out where is this stemming from? If that's you, you're not alone. Um, what I want to share with you today is that even though we're going through these weird, turbulent times, that our body is actually sending us a sign or a signal or a warning or a heads up as to what are some deeper issues that may be going on the inside. Stuff that we've never really come to terms with in our lives. I know for myself, I've suppressed a lot of stuff deep down ever since I was young. And the last couple months has been really strange for me because they've been coming up in ways that previously didn't come up so in a similar manner, so to speak. I'm going to pause this for a second. And so during these times or these moments, sometimes after it calms down, I take a look and I'm like, what was that? Or what is this that's going on inside of my nervous system? And even though I do know what the triggers are, I'm like, why is it affecting me so much? Now, before, I used to be able to hold things in pretty good. And now, after this long journey of going through chronic pain, and which turned into anxiety, and then we had loss, and then it turned into stress, illness, and trauma started coming in my system, and all of this stuff, this fun whirlwind it seems like I have been on the last number of years. Recently, there was other stuff that's going on, and it's like these really deep-rooted things coming up from my childhood. And I know ultimately what is going on because I really did suppress a lot of stuff. And now I am working through a slew of different things that comes up. Sometimes I can be around family gatherings or old friends or old wounds or old things that I've suppressed. It can be a bunch of different things. And what's been coming up in my nervous system is like, why is this huge reaction there? And what we need to learn to do is what I'm learning to do is I'm learning to try to pay attention to the triggers in my body, like the sensations, I think is a better word. What is this? Is it turning on pain? Chronic pain? Is it turning on an emotional trigger? Am I shutting down? Am I overreacting? Am I not wanting to face something? What is it that I'm feeling? And I'm pausing again. Basically, our body is trying to tell us something. It's telling us that we need to come to terms with something. What is it that we have suppressed so much in our lives that we are not giving a little bit more attention to? And I'm not talking about attention can be taken two different ways. We can go outside of ourselves trying to get people to validate us and to try to fix something and wanting it to be done from the outside, which it really works. But rather, the attention that we may need to do is some inner attention, you know? So in my case, it could be me parenting my inner child. why is this hurting you so much? Why is this triggering you so much? Why does what this person thinks of you, or what this person says of you, or how this person might respond to your personality, or how, whatever. Why is that triggering you so much? And then I find myself back to when I was a little girl. And I held a lot of stuff inside. I was very hyper. I was very sheltered, naive. With ADHD, I didn't know. My mind just didn't seem to clue into certain things easy, like that seemed to be understood by so many other people. My parents they loved us, but they were, working through their own issues from their childhood and stuff that they never, they were working through their own stuff, and so on the home front, I didn't always get that love and validation, especially from my father, which I really wanted, but he didn't know how to be a dad. As he got older, I got to see more of who my dad was, that quiet man that never really said a whole lot, never engaged a whole lot with us. My mom made things fun, but there was a lot of tension in our home. A lot of unresolved issues. And then outside of the home, there was more, because I had a hard time fitting in. I wasn't like most people my age. And I internalized a lot of it. It was, what's wrong with me? Why can't I feel the love and the validation that I really wanted? And now as I'm older, I've made some beautiful friends in my life. And I have a wonderful husband and a family that loves me. And I have so much to be thankful for. But yet, there's something going on inside of my body that doesn't always make a lot of sense to me. And what I'm realizing is that it stems way, way back. I'm being very vulnerable today because it helps me. Sometimes I need to talk things through, and it helps me to process my emotions or what's going on in my nervous system. And I also feel that being vulnerable with people helps people to know that they're not alone. We get on social media sometimes and we want to portray that we're a certain way, that we got it all together. And sometimes we just don't. And even when we think we do, there's so much stuff inside that the world doesn't know, that we just hide. We're all working through this. We're all humans. We're all on a journey. And so I just want to encourage you that whatever you're going through, you're not alone. But I also want to say that when we're going through this stuff, we still need to be careful that we don't get overly focused and wrapped up in it. When we're hurting, or when we feel, that we need validation and approval from people all the time, healing that is not by getting the validation and approval from people. That's not where the healing comes from. We think it is. Well, if this person would just, like me, or if this person would, just validate me, or if this person would just hear me out, or if this person, uh, if this, if I would just, someone would father me or parent me or love me in a certain way unconditionally, then everything would be better. No, that's not how it works. You're talking to someone who's lived a lifetime, 50 years, of trying to do it that way. It's never worked for me. One of the things that I'm learning more now is that if I can change my inner state, my view of myself, not the child view that I had. What they say, the science is there that the first 7 years of our life are monumental, and that is what sets up into our subconscious for the rest of our life. Like, that's what guides us, even though we don't realize some of our actions and our behaviors, the way we respond. A lot of that is stemming from those first monumental years, because that's when our brains, a subconscious part of our brain, is absorbing most of that. As we get older, it's the prefrontal cortex and other parts of our brain that starts developing. But when we're young, it's that part that goes into our deep subconscious, the part that we're not aware of, that's taking place in the background, you know. So a lot of the things that we do are stemming from that in our lives, and we don't really realize it. It's like a subconscious programming running that we're unaware of. And it's about becoming aware of what is our subconscious programming and changing it. Trying to get everyone else to love us or to accept us in a way that we've always wanted to be doesn't fix us. I've lived that way my entire life. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. What works is when we can begin to change our internal mindset about our value. People don't have to understand everything. They don't. We don't have to explain ourselves to everybody. When it works, great. When it doesn't, it doesn't. You let it go. Our true value comes from within, and changing that view that we have of ourselves, and find out, where did that view even stem from in the first place? And then be kind of like that parent. For me, talk therapy is a huge part of my healing process. And so sometimes if I don't have someone to talk to, or maybe I want to talk to a friend or something like that, and they're not available at the moment, or it's like, yeah, but the emotion is here now and they're probably busy now, and so I'm not gonna, and you kind of like, I use self-talk, and sometimes I will make videos, and it's a way of me getting some stuff out. Sometimes I share more than I wished I shared. I may end this video later and say, oh, I shared too much. But you know what? I think vulnerability is more needed in our day and age. We act like we got too much together when we don't. And it's okay. We're all healing together. We're all growing together. And if we can learn that we may be on different roads or different journeys, we're still on the same human journey. And we're all working through different things in our lives, even though they might not be the same. Other people, you might totally resonate with it. But whatever it is, it starts with changing our internal self-image and learning to love and value ourselves with or without the approval of others. With is always much more preferred, but it's with or without. And it's learning to be confident and finding out who you are. Maybe you have a hard time pushing towards your dreams and your goals, and you're just always worried about what people think. Am I going to do it the right way? Am I not, can I do this? Am I smart enough? Am I confident enough? Changing our internal self-image is where it starts, and it got to start in here. I can't validate you so much where it's like, oh, it gives you, it might help for the moment to motivate you and to get you on a right path, and all of that is great, because encouragement from one another is definitely part of our whole human journey and development. But if that helps me, and then I have someone else that turns around and knocks me down the next moment, well, I can find myself right back in that same hole. But if I change what I think of myself, and I am confident about who I am and about my journey and understanding what's going on, and I'm like, we're gonna be okay. It's just an overreactive little girl that's inside, that's scared, that feels, this or that. We're not that person anymore. We're not that person. That's just old memories within the body and the nervous system coming up. That's not who you are. That's not who you are. So let it go. Let it go. That old version of you, that old version of me, is not who we are. Our thoughts, our emotions are not who we are. They're like clouds that pass by. And clouds are meant to pass by. Who we truly are is much more than that. Don't ever forget your value. Don't ever forget how beautiful you are. It doesn't matter what people made you feel like growing up. It's not who you are. You are beautiful. You are beautiful. And don't you forget it. I'm wishing you a peaceful day today. A day full of love and realization that you are not anything else but beautiful. Take care.